Hi, and welcome to the preview podcast. I'm Mark Griffiths. I'm joined by Chay Long, and we'll be looking forward to Wrexham's game against Sutton United, which, let's be honest, is a massive match. I mean, we've gained a bit of momentum, and it's good that we have, Chay, because we are really going up against a quality side here.
Yeah, their results recently have been fantastic. They're second in the league, I believe.
Yeah.
They're an all-round classy team. We have beat them earlier on in the season, 4-0, probably their worst result. But they're 1 point behind Torquay, and they've got 2 games in hand, and they just don't seem to stop winning at the moment. If you look at the form table at the moment, I think it's us, Yeovil, and Wrexham who are the top 3. Well, us, Yeovil, and Sutton who are the top 3. So it's going to be a fascinating game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a poor record at Sutton, got pretty heavy beating there the last 2 seasons. But I'd like to think that the way we came back on Saturday will give us the confidence to get on the front foot, get at them. And I mean, we saw on Saturday that we did very well because we pushed up high into Wealdstone's half. Well, that's exactly what we did, if you remember, against Sutton. We were playing with a 4-at-back system then, but we really showed terrific energy, pressed in their half, wouldn't let them come out, and ultimately battered them. And I think we may need that sort of front foot attitude on Saturday.
Well, what I don't want to see is a poor first half performance. I think if we do that against Sutton, they'll just put us away before half time. So for me, this is. I know you always say, "Oh, we need to go for the win. We need to go for the win." I'm not saying go for the draw, but I think if we leave Sutton without losing on Saturday, that's a successful result, because that means we took 4 points from a top side this season. Like the Hartlepool game, we took 4 points from them over 2 games, which would be really positive. Of course, I'd love us. Well, don't get me wrong, I'd be very, very happy if we won. But I think avoiding losing would be a successful result on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be very happy to keep the sort of unbeaten momentum going. I'm not saying that I think we should just go at teams necessarily, but I don't want us to sit back because they'll pick us off. I think that we've already shown that being on the front foot and taking the game to them, not letting them have comfortable possession is the way to go. They've got players like Buteman in midfield who can move the ball well. But we didn't allow them time. I saw Buteman, who was playing wide in that game, and just didn't get into the game enough because we were disrupting them all the time, and that's what we, I think, need to do. In all honesty, shame Vassell's suspended though.
Yeah. I think that's a huge miss. Even though we have done fantastically without him, I'm not saying we don't need him, but we've done well without him in previous games. So I'm quite happy if it's Carrington, Tyler French and Kelleher at the back. But then there's the question of, is Reece Hall-Johnson fit? So which leaves another thing. Do we put Horsfield at right wing back, or do we? Because Horsfield's played right centre back too, isn't he? Do we do Tyler French at right wing back and put Horsfield right centre? Or maybe they just switch over just to confuse them a little bit throughout the game. I don't know. I don't have the answers. But it's going to be a game where we're going to have to play extremely well to get a result, isn't it, Mark? So and it's going to be good. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
It's going to be interesting as well in that, I mean, the big threat up front, not the only one by any stretch of imagination, Omar Bugil got a hat-trick against us last time. He's a mobile target man with a lot of strength. I wonder if that might play into how we set up our back 3 in terms of, you're right, Horsfield, Kelleher and Carrington is a 3 that would work. They've all been playing in the back 3 when we've been defending well. It gives you movement either side of Kelleher. We'd have to make sure Kelleher's keeping an eye on Bugil, because if they can get good service into the far post and he can pull out onto one of the wide centre-backs, he'd probably back himself to win a good percentage of those against, players who really are full-back midfielders, admittedly players who can do a good job filling in the centre-back. So it'd be interesting to see if he wants French in there as well in order to give that extra little bit of height alongside a player like that. I don't know.
Another question that we just keep on asking week in, week out, what do we do with the midfield this game now? Do we leave unchanged? Do we play Durrell? Do we play Jarvis? Or do we try and hold back a little bit more?
Is Harris fit? Is my first question. Is Harris fit, and has he got 90 minutes in? Because if so, I'm inclined to say Harris, Young, and Davis are the three. Although I want us to be forward and not get stuck in our own half, I think maybe this is not a game to start Durrell or Jarvis in necessarily. Davis can go forwards and do that sort of role. But I think if we start with those three, you're going to find it hard to get through the middle of us. And also, like I said, I'm not saying it as a defensive measure. Those three will work very hard off the ball, will win tackles, and can step up on the pitch to do so. I think, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm overthinking that, but there's a gut feeling in me that I quite like that stiff centre midfield with experience of Young and Harris. You know, this is going to be a competitive game. I like Harris being on our side in competitive games, to be honest.
Well, and for me, Sutton are a side that just don't give up, do they, either? They were 2-1 down up until like the 86th minute on Tuesday against Bromley. And they pulled 2 goals back in the last 5 minutes and in added time as well. So we are playing a real quality side today, aren't we? Saturday, I mean. And I think the key is, as fans, is if we lose a game like this, we are losing to a side that is genuine quality. So there's no need to be so dramatic if we do lose, is it? We are playing a very, very, very good side. But I honestly think because we've beaten 4-0 previously in the season, I think we have the tools to beat Sutton too.
Yeah, I mean, our strikers are scoring goals. They're causing teams problems. They are, I think, at the moment, the best team in the division. Certainly got the most points per game. They got a couple of games in hand on Torquay, and they're only, 1 point behind now? And like you say, they scored very late to win the game on Tuesday. They did in their previous game as well. Their previous game, they won in the last minute. That's a great sign of a team that's got confidence and never gives up. But, all right, and this is actually something I sometimes will ask players, and it fascinates me. Why do you get certain runs of results against certain opposition or in certain venues? So, for example, I mean, we could never beat Fylde. Fylde got relegated and we still played badly against them. You know, I mean, is it something to do with the mix of players, tactics? Although, to be fair, Dave Chalmers at Fylde was very flexible in his tactics and wasn't their manager when they beat us last year, when it was like a Fylde team that were poor. Likewise, you know, Macclesfield. Why do we always go to Macclesfield and lose? Why do Macclesfield always beat us? There's no strong reason. We're similar-sized teams. Now, all right, bringing that on to Sutton, right? We've had bad experiences there the last couple of seasons, and that could play on players' minds, although, of course, we had a bit of a turnover, so some of those players are fresh to this fixture. But on the other hand, we battered them. You know, they're a confident team, so I assume their attitude to that will be make them pay for that. But if it doesn't go their way, if we are getting in amongst them and we are bringing back, if you like, memories of us stopping them from playing and making chances, they might start having that subconscious thought of, oh, flame hell, they're doing it to us again, yeah? We can't do this against them. You know, you never know. There's a lot more going on than just the football in some senses in a match, isn't there?
And I think how Wrexham set up, as I said, we're not a team. Like I think a lot of people, if you look at our form table at the moment, I'm sure the top 3 is Sutton, Yeovil, and then us, because Yeovil had a massive resurgence recently, and they're looking really good. But for us, I think we're quite a difficult side to beat at times. I think when the defence is doing everything right, the back 3 are usually very well organised. We have Kelleher, who's actually not too bad on the ball for a big stopper. And we've usually got 2 very good ball-playing centre-backs on either side. And we've got Record and Reece Johnson, when they're fit, who are 2 tremendous players. So I think we can look at this game and think, you know what, we're in good form. We can go out and win. Why not? And I think the mentality should be, Why not? We should go push for promotion. We should go push for the top 2 places. Go out and win.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, other things have fallen nicely for us after that game. The midweek results were in our favour.
Yeah.
They were a very nice set of results for us, that.
Steve Cleve's men did us a favour, didn't they?
Oh, I've always liked
last-minute goal against Nottingham.
top lad.
He's a class act.
And also, and I'm always wary of saying this, I'll be honest with you, but the fact is, if we, as you said from the start, if we can get something out of this game, even if it's a lucky draw, we've then got a run of, all right, we're away to Barnet on Tuesday. They're bottom of the league. They got beaten heavily in midweek at home. I'm not saying that that's a given, but it's a winnable game. Then we've got a home game against Weymouth. So again, those are 2 games that we've got to look at, saying, well, our aim should be 6 points. If we can get 7 points out of the next 3 games, we're going to look very nice in the table. And I think that's leading up to Eastleigh then, who are in form. But you know, if we could get that going again, also, I mean, let's be honest, I don't like talking ahead like this because it's sort of setting you up for a fall. But say we manage to achieve that, we're doing well in terms of accumulating points, and we'll have lost 1 in 11. That would feel like proper momentum, no matter how we played in those games. So, yeah, this is a big point, I think, in our season, possibly.
If we can carry on chipping away at results. So, for example, if we can chip away, and get some good results up until Bromley, and then we got a run of really hard games. We've got Bromley, Notts County, Torquay and Stockport. That's 4 really tough games, isn't it? So if we can just keep on keep on avoiding losing and cement ourselves as high as we possibly can to the playoff, I might be a bit too optimistic. Maybe I think this team can go up because there's not a side in this conference, maybe apart from Sutton, as we said, that really strike out to me like, wow, they're phenomenal.
I from this position, and frankly, I mean, I did say at the start of the season, I'd be very disappointed if we're not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'd be genuinely disappointed, and nothing's changed in that respect. We're right. We're in a playoff spot. We're right in the mix. We've got points in the bag rather than games in hand, which I prefer. And you mentioned that tough run of fixtures, and you're quite right. But 3 out of 4 at home. A lot of the big teams haven't come to us yet, and I know we've struggled in a couple of games against decent sides to break them down at home. But the fact is that our home record's very good. And that we coming to the race course is to those teams a bit like us going to Sutton at the weekends. It's a tough place and they take a point probably. So, we've got, you know, the dream scenario is we get something out of this on Saturday, beat those 2 teams that are beatable, and then can take momentum into those tough matches where we use our home form, and hopefully at the end of that sequence of games we should be in a strong position. And yeah, I mean, I know that's jumping a long way into the future. We don't know what's around the corner. There's encouraging noises coming out of the club about players like Langton and Pearson being fit and available fairly soon as well, which is good.
Yeah.
So you know, let's remember that Waleson game, we had a heck of a lot of players out injured. You know, we had essentially 15 professionals available, well, 16 professionals available to us. Ryan Hull still on the bench. The only fit professional who wasn't in the 16 was Redmond. So we are down to the bare bones, but we're actually still doing well. So, yeah, I feel positive. We've just got to, like I said, be good. This feels like a big game to me.
Yeah, and I think it could be a turning point in our season if we can get a good result. If we can get a win against Sutton, I think it'll give some mentality to the team that we can go out and beat anyone.
Yeah.
Because Sutton are a very, very good side, and I think it's just installing that mentality. And I think we could beat anyone in this league anyway. But we could also, you know, I know this is a very captain obvious thing to say, we could also lose on our day.
Yeah.
I don't think any side in the conference this season is really blowing complete hot all the time, really. I think there's a lot of teams that are blowing hot and cold. So I'm not confident. I'm confident, but for me, I'd be happy with just avoiding a loss on Saturday, and that kicks us on to the next few games then.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's a big game. and let's hope we get something out of it. Remember, everyone, you can keep in touch with it in all sorts of ways. There will be the live stream offered by Sutton. If you aren't going for that, there's the Mixler.
That one's on BT Sports.
Oh, beg your pardon, of course it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you and your facts and truth. Okay. Well, that means it's on BT Sports, which is good if you have got BT Sports. If you haven't, then remember the Mixler commentary by the club will be there. The commentators know the club best, taking you through the match. There'll be all the usual post-match stuff. The podcast will be out that night on the game. There'll be all sorts of offerings like that. The highlights will come out at midnight the next day. And so there'll be lots of ways to keep in touch. Remember, subscribe, like, rate, write a review. Do that for all our podcasts and videos because they all make club money for the club. And yeah, we'll offer you lots of ways to keep in touch with how the match went. So let's hope we can get a decent result. Thank you, Chay, as always, for joining me. And
really enjoyed that one, Mark. It's going to be a really fun game on Saturday, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Let's hope it's fun. I really hope it's fun.
But let's hope we're all sipping the aviation gins after the game and having a good one. Cause I think we have a good chance at winning.
Other gins are not available.
Yeah.
I mentioned that. Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you, Chay, and let's hope Wrexham can put in a performance on Saturday. I'm Mark Griffiths, he's Chay Long, and we're going. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe as well so you don't miss out on any of our content, and click the bell to get notifications.